Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
This is an urgent alert to anyone eligible to vote. Whether you vote is a matter of public record. Your friends, your family, your boss, anyone can check and see if you voted this year. Who you vote for is private. Whether you vote is not, and will be on your record forever. Vote by mail, vote early in person, or on November 5th. Don't get caught skipping this important task.
Paid for by Story Network Foundation.
Hi, hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to But Am I Wrong?
We're here for a long time and a good time.
I love that. I love that attitude. I love that vibe. Hell yeah. This is But Am I Wrong, where we two people who have never, ever, 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 ever been wrong.
Ever?
Ever.
Do you know that song?
In theory.
I'm sorry, Miss Jackson.
I am for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you turned it into bloopity bloop music that you talk about. What do you call it?
Shoo up to wop.
Shoo up. Yeah, that's what you did.
I shoo up to wop a lot of things. And you know what? I don't even like shoo up to wop
you
music.
hate it, but I believe you love it.
No, it's a drug, and it's infectious, and it's an infestation. Yeah, pop and lock it. I love it. So
I didn't mean to moan like that, but I was just trying to get...
While you were maintaining eye contact with me, I was very, very, very uncomfortable. So welcome to another episode. If you are brand new here, I'll give you a quick little rundown. Because we are two people who have never, ever been wrong about anything ever, we've decided to bestow those gifts upon you, the public. And we read your email submissions, and you tell us, am I wrong in this situation? We'll tell you. We also share things in our own life, like, are we wrong in this situation? Or we can do hot takes, just rants. And then finally, we also nominate people who are just objectively wrong, who we may or may not have any ties to, but it's usually just in the news, something fun like that. Or it's not fun. But, you know, collectively, we just go, boo, tomato, tomato, tomato.
And then I take a nice, firm, fresh off the vine tomato.
Fresh off the vine.
And throw it at them.
See, I'm doing an old, I'm doing when I pick it up, it almost disintegrates in my hand.
See, I want it to hurt.
I want it to embarrass. I want there to be some shame, and I want it to be sticky.
And then us together, pain and stickiness.
Some people like that. Some people like that.
I do a little bit.
Okay. Well, we also are on Patreon if you would like to support the show, and you can watch the video version there. You can see how cute we look. We are back together in studio. And you can also join our live streams.
I have a question for people. It just came to me.
Okay.
Is anyone interested in us doing just audio that you pay for? Like you're like, I'm in the car now.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to watch the video, but I would like to listen to y'all without ads. Is anyone interested in that?
Oh, let us know. You can, if you're in our Facebook group, right in there, send us a DM. So, yeah, we've got 3 segments. Do you remember who went? Oh, and then also, one of the best parts. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot. These episodes go out on Thursday and usually on Friday, hopefully on Fridays. We open up the voting for all of you. So, you know, we say who we think is wrong. We post on our Instagram stories from every segment, and you can vote in them and let us know if you agree, disagree, who you think is wrong. And we read the results on our Friday episode called Fisting Friday.
Ooh.
Yeah. That's what the crowd says. They go, ooh, do that again. And then we said, next Friday. Okay. So our first segment is But Am I Wrong? Where we pitch to each other either hot takes rants, something going on in our own life that we're wrong about. I think I'm supposed to go first, right?
You are.
You know, I debated talking about my personal life, but I'm not going to. If you could see the face, that for her was a face of, good God, don't do it. Don't worry, I'm not. So, I swear to God, if this is a hot take, I think it's a hot take in the sense that it's happening far too often for everybody to have the same thoughts that I do. But I refuse to believe that our audience is one of these people.
Okay.
Stop selling things that you got for free for money. This is an origin of a Facebook marketplace rant.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a Kardashian rant.
Oh, no, they do it. They all do it. But so I'm going to say right off the bat, I do think I'm always hypocritical. I've always got a caveat. I think gifts are different. If someone gave you a gift for like a personal friend, like for your whatever, if you want to sell that, go for it. Like, because the gift was going to, you know what I mean? Like someone spent their own money on giving you a gift. If you want to be petty about something, do whatever. That I don't have to think you have to donate something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But influencers do it. They'll sell things they got in PR. I've literally had people who I've sent things that like when I did stuff that they then went to sell. And I'm like, okay, cool. And that to me is just baffling. I would never. It's just so unprofessional. And people get taken off of PR lists for doing that, like immediately. But the part that feels to me the most egregious is people on Facebook Marketplace selling this lamp from Wayfair, originally $300, selling for $190 or $200. When it shipped and it arrived, this one piece was missing and the other was broken, so they're sending me a new one. And I go, you are selling a product that is not functional. This is not about your chair.
That's what it seems like.
No. That is not functional. And then you're saying that it's not fun. And like, if you want to sell it for $20, go for it. And someone can spend the money to like fix X, Y, and Z or whatever. But when it's something that's like, they're just sending you a new one and the cost to fix or whatever is the price of someone buying the full price item with the return policy and all of that stuff. No. There's a mathematical equation there. What you were going to sell your, what do you call it, massage chair for? Not the price. The cost would not be the difference to fix it.
Correct.
Just what I mean.
It's also like,
she hasn't sold it.
No, but it also functions perfectly fine without the piece that is missing.
And like, if someone, again, they want to sell something for like $50 that's originally like $500 or like a couple $100, and it's like, oh, it's just missing this one thing, and like I could go out and buy it, but they're replacing it for me, like, and I'm not gonna, you know, whatever. Something that's like a quick, simple little fix like that completely fine, because you are to me, it's like the time versus effort equation and like the materials for it. And those need to add up, and then you're solid. But if you're telling someone that like half of this thing is shattered, you don't know how to fix it, you don't know what they would do, but here you go. It goes, you've given me I just paid for a project.
That's true.
And I'm probably going to spend as much money if I bought it full price as is, functioning with a return policy. And then some people are like, firm. And I go, bitch, this was free. Like, what do you mean firm on price? Like, you don't even know how to fix it. Like, it just drives me crazy, because there's a way to do it. There's an ethical way to profit off of these companies. You know?
How many hours a day do you spend on Facebook Marketplace?
Oh, that is a number I could not calculate. Is it because I brought it up like 9 times today?
Yep.
I love Facebook Marketplace. I'm a big fan.
I'm not.
But specifically, the place that I find this happening the most, and I should specifically say this and why it pisses me off the most, is in lights. And it's like, does not work, not sure how it works. Like, but I'm getting replaced. But like, if you can fix it, like $200. And I go, this is not working. Give it away. If you can't figure out how to make it work, you're telling me to pay for something that I might not ever even be able to fix. I saw someone selling a bed, which I was the appropriate customer, because there are some of these beds that are the big 4-poster ones. And I go, I don't want 2 of them. I'm going to slice one of those off. But you know, it's like, am I going to get roasted on 4-poster beds? Like the big 4.
But what do you mean you only want 2 of them?
Like on the 2, the ones that'll go against the wall. And then I could like make the other ones a little bit lower, like a 2-poster bed.
Got it.
And I was like, you know, or sometimes some of them, like the Tommy Bahama ones, just have like a big pineapple. And I go, I don't want the pineapple. So, you know, a little slice right under there. Shave it, sand it down. But that's frowned upon. And I'm like, you know, someone might want the whole bed as is. But someone was selling one that like, they literally, like, they kept showing only really half of the bed. And then the last picture, it goes, oh, one of them is just kind of like hacked off in half. And then they have like written at the bottom, like, oh, yeah, like slight damage. Like if you see the final one, slight damage, like definitely seems fixable. And it's like, it's not fixable. And it was like $500 for a DIY woodworking project. But it still doesn't get me as much as the fucking lights that don't work. What am I paying for? The hope of electricity? That's infuriating to me. Also because I'm already nervous. I've never bought a light secondhand because I'm like convinced that it won't work.
Yeah.
But like, why would I buy one that I know for sure doesn't work? And I'm just supposed to suddenly become an electrician and figure it out.
Please don't. I'm scared for you if you did.
There is no way in hell I would. My hands are too big. Can't be a dentist. Can't be an electrician.
There are men that have hands bigger than yours that are in both of those professions.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about them. I only know about me.
Well,
that's
you're
my
not wrong.
Rant.
And the reason you're not wrong, in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
is because Facebook Marketplace just scares me as a whole.
Yeah. There's a couple times where like I go to like message seller about something I like and I see the profile picture and I see the Oakley sunglasses and I go, maybe I'll send this listing to Mott's and have him message.
But a lot of it is just scams anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at sniffing those out though.
Yeah, you can usually tell, like if you click on their profile and then read, you're like, this is fake.
Yeah, but Mott's gets like, he like can't, I have to be the one doing, especially the selling because like he gets so frustrated and I'm like, it's a scam, just don't respond. He's like, I want them to know. And I go, they know it's a scam. They're conducting the scam. You're not about to change hearts and minds.
Nope.
He thinks he can get to them.
Thinks he can change them.
Yep.
Well, mine this week is a rant.
I love it.
And it's about airplane etiquette.
Airplane etiquette.
First,
Stanky.
wear socks. I don't know how many times I have gone through TSA and I just see people raw dogging the floor. Sometimes they'll even have sneakers on and take their sneakers off without socks or just wearing flip-flops. Why are you wearing flip-flops on a plane? Absolutely disgusting. 2, please arrive early.
What's your early?
2 hours.
I'm telling you right now, as someone with zero concept of time, I don't disagree with that.
Get there 2 hours early because you rushing, not my problem. If there's things malfunctioning, if you would have got here early, this wouldn't have been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
3, when the flight is called, do not stand up unless you're in the first boarding group. What's the point? Why are you making the line? Why is the line down the whole freaking hallway? Just sit down, wait till yours is called. We're all going to the same fucking place. You getting in line is not going to make us get there any faster. Same when getting off the plane.
Oof.
3, when you're on the plane, wear a mask. Even in the airport, wear a mask. And I'm not talking about COVID. I know that it has been declared that we're no longer in a pandemic. So the thing is, before COVID, people would be like, take some emergency or airborne before you get on a plane because everybody gets sick. Why don't we all just wear masks? What is wrong with that?
It protects you from all the smelly things on the plane as well.
Wear a mask. People are farting. Megan's farting on the plane.
I am. I'm not holding it in for you.
2, I'm going to be wiping down my seat. So just be patient. Again, we're all going to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
You standing there for a couple seconds isn't going to make me move any faster or go any slower. I'm going to be wiping down. 3, I'm short. And if I see you putting your
I think you
overhead-
said 3 for the last 4 of them.
okay,
I'm
whatever.
obsessed with that.
4, 5, I don't know. Whatever fucking number I'm on. I'm short.
Yeah.
Sometimes
No.
I need assistance putting my overhead thing in.
Yep.
So if you were taller than me and I just saw you do it, most people do. They'll help me
Yeah.
out. But don't get frustrated with me if I'm trying to reach up and I can't reach, or I have my backpack on and it's holding me down so I can't fully put my suitcase up.
That makes me sweat. Not just thinking about that. Like, I hate that shit. When you're like, but I'm being dragged down, but I
Yes.
have to go up.
Yes. What else? Do not bring food on the plane that smells really bad.
And guess what? You can also wear a mask, and then whatever smells you might think other people are very pleasant smells. No, but I'm saying, like,
It does cut
even
it
if you're a
down.
very sensitive person that, like, you're like, I don't like people eating anything, even something like an apple, with that mask on, diluting that smell a little
Yeah.
bit.
Whatever number I'm on, keep your socks and shoes on the plane
At all times.
at all times. I don't need to see your little, like, toesies. I don't need to see the little piggies out at any time, especially when you're walking to the bathroom, because the water in the bathroom is not water. It's not water.
That's disgusting.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do not put your little toesies on the armrest where I can see it in between my seat and I look back and I feel it. Or I feel a little tickle on
It's
my
like seeing,
ankle.
like a little dick. Like, it's like it's
Yes.
a jump scare. You go, oh my God, whose penis is that?
I feel a little tickle on my ankle because you're stretching out your toes. Put something under there.
Get one of those feet hammocks.
Yeah. What else do I have issues with on planes? Most people.
Fair.
Yeah. Be nice to the flight attendants.
Mm-hmm.
Flight attendants, if you're going to make jokes, be funny. Do not
The
sing.
feedback on those little mics are so bad.
Not just
and, like,
flight attendants, but everybody on the plane.
Totally. But the flight attendants, I'm like, I believe that you're a fantastic singer, but I'm telling you right now, the acoustics here are not good. And
No.
now I'm angry.
If there's turbulence, don't talk. I don't want to hear people just kikiing away, having a good time. This is a time for us all to be quiet. I know it doesn't affect the pilot really because they know what they're doing, but
Yeah.
For
like,
me,
he's
it's
or
like
they're focusing. Look at me, gender binary. He. Well, if they're turbulence, I'm thinking of that as a personal failure.
but I think of it in the same way. I don't know if you've ever been driving
Yes.
and you're like, I need to turn the volume down.
Was that
for-
every day? I'm like, I gotta focus.
Like,
Gotta
that's-
turn the volume down.
Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody, shut up.
Mhm.
And I think that's a good enough list for now.
I would like to add one on for you. If you want to watch or listen to anything, if you don't have headphones, you're no longer allowed to watch.
That's true.
Even a game that a child is playing,
Oh,
a child can play that game if you turn the volume on. I don't care.
yes.
I don't care. I just,
You need to purchase some headphones for that
there
kid.
needs to be that gone. And then something I would like to see more of on planes. I really love when people laugh when they're watching movies on planes out loud. Like when people are watching something and you can see someone like giggle. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to like watch. So many fucking people watch movies that are like not too sad or like not too funny. But like I've sat next to like old people who are like laughing, not like loudly laughing, but like, you know, a fun little chuckle to some movie. And I'm like, I'm enjoying the energy.
Hard disagree because, again, as a nervous flyer, I just need whatever
Silence.
I'm hearing. And then the captain and the flight attendants. That's all I should be hearing from.
Oh, see, I'm a nosy passenger.
I do look at other people's what they're watching, but I don't want to hear their reaction to what they're
Oh,
watching.
no, I also want to see, but I want to see people smiling and chuckling. Do you want to hear something, the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life?
What?
On a flight. By the way, I take my shoes off on flights, but I wear my socks and I put additional socks on over my socks. So the socks that I've been walking, which my feet aren't like sweaty feet, the socks that I've been wearing, those socks get socks that
Mhm.
stay on the plane. And those socks, you see how I said it. Those socks never touch the fucking floor.
Great.
And then those socks, when I put my shoes on, I put those socks away in my bag. And then I put my shoes back on. I got to cuddle up. Sometimes if I wear sneakers, then I'll just keep them on the whole time. But I watched a guy on a flight to Europe sit there, no headphones, no movie. I like fucking 11-hour flight, something like that. Coach, because this wasn't a work trip. We were coach. And he was just on his calculator app. And he would type in some numbers and then he would pause and he'd like look up and he'd think. And then he'd like delete numbers and type again and add all this stuff for 11 hours. And sometimes it would be like 70,000 minus 4. And then he'd like look at it and goes, plus 2. And then like times 3 minus 47. I'm like, what are you doing? But every time I went up to go to the bathroom, he was still fucking at it. And I made Mods go when he went out. I was like, look at the guy. And he goes, yeah, I'm still. And I so badly wanted to be like, what were you calculating? Because like in my mind, I'm like, are you solving, I don't know, are you creating like the quantum realm? Like, what is this? Or are you just trying to figure out like car payments? Like, I'd love to know.
You know, I've said that algebra calms me, so maybe they just like typing away in their calculator app.
But then what is he doing with the thinking part? Because it was like he was doing mental math and then going, and now calculator math.
I don't know, but
one time we got up to 174,600. And I'm like, what is it? Anyways.
Let him live his life.
I did. I enjoyed watching it. And that's what I was saying. So like for me, I love other people's business on airplanes, but it should be silent business.
Oh, here's another one. And this is a message to the airlines. Put tops on the drinks. I don't understand why we don't have tops on drinks because, again, turbulence. And then you're reaching across people to give them their beverages. And I can count at least 2 times where
a little slippy slip
I've gotten spilled on. If it's a short flight, like 3-4 hours, I'm just holding my pee because I don't want to use those bathrooms.
You and me both.
So the drink wasn't for me.
Yep.
And now I have it in my lap.
Oh, and PSA, don't have tea or coffee on planes.
No. It's disgusting.
It's
the toilet water.
It's not the thing that you drink on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain things that things should be different when you're in the sky. But ingestibles like that, no. I like kind of miss airports, but like I don't want to go anywhere. I just like.
You want to be one of those people that just go to the airports to eat a meal?
Depends on the airport, but like I kind of want to go to the Chicago airport and just like have
some popcorn.
Sure.
That's what they're known for.
Maybe.
That popcorn.
You know, I would like to go to the Detroit airport for fun, but not for function. I want someone to drive me there, and then I want someone to drive me home. Melissa, it is
never been to Chicago.
It is
I mean, I have been to Chicago numerous times, but
no, I would say Salt Lake City and Detroit. And here's the thing: this is coming from someone whose like home ones are SFO and LAX. Like, I get those are for anyone who's not from shitty. Like the way that other people view that is how I view like LaGuardia and JFK. But to me, what takes the cake? Salt Lake City and Detroit, beautiful airports. Good God, they would be wonderful places if I didn't have to use them as an airport.
I was like, we just had a conversation about
Patreon.
this, but it was on our Patreon. Join our live streams.
That was the tamest conversation we've had in a while.
It was on the same thing.
Yeah. And then we went into
a deep, dark, triple hole.
That for anyone who saw that TikTok,
I didn't.
About 3 hot dogs,
triple pleasure,
1 bun. We got into it.
All right. Now we're going to take a break.
Woohoo! And we're back, and it's time for our next segment, which is
But Are You Wrong?
Wow, what does that entail, Melissa?
That's when you, our listeners, write in to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com and you're like, I've got a story to tell and I'm keeping it 300 words or less. And if I can't get it to 300 words or less, I'm going to get into some AI and be like, hey, AI, make this 300 words or less. And then you're going to send it to us at butamiwrongpod@gmail.com, like I already said. And then we may choose it.
Hell yeah. Okay. Hey, Eminem, I'm 32 female. My friend Sarah, 30, and she and her husband, Nate, 32, got a puppy, Fido. Nate had dogs growing up, but this is Sarah's first pet. I've noticed he pushes a lot of the responsibilities onto her. First, they were both attending puppy classes, but he stopped going because he, quote unquote, didn't like the trainer. They were both giving Fido baths, but now she does it alone because he was doing it, quote unquote, wrong. I was visiting her, and Nate told her that the dog had an accident. Sarah cleaned it up even though she had company, and he was doing nothing. Those are just the things I've seen. She mentioned feeling overwhelmed, but hasn't explicitly complained about Nate's behavior until yesterday. She said that Nate takes out his frustrations on Fido. I don't believe he physically harms Fido, but he yells at him if his basketball team loses. Oh my God.
Baseball.
If his baseball team loses or other stupid reasons. She gets nervous because he blames her if Fido misbehaves. This summer, they plan to start trying to get pregnant, so I asked her if this behavior makes her worried he'll be the same way as a parent. I pointed out the examples of things that would concern me. She kind of thought it was ridiculous I would compare a pet to a child. I obviously know children take way more work, but it's the principle. When I was dating my now husband, I had 2 geriatric Pomeranians. I don't think I've ever seen that combination of 2 words together. I absolutely paid attention to how he interacted with them and helped with their care. I use that as a predictor of how he may act as a parent. With Nate, I see weaponized incompetence and other concerning behavior. Was I wrong to compare pet care to parenting and suggest that they address these issues before becoming parents? Thanks. Love the pod. Note, if I ever find out Nate is physically hurting Fido and Sarah will be living with me and Nate will be dead. I think that last statement is solid and I'm happy to be your alibi. So reading just like I'll say on paper, but like, no, this is on paper. But like, I think like in a telling of a story to someone else, like retelling of this, I would go like, yeah, can't really say that things about other people. But that's it in the terms of like, what is morally the correct thing to do. But like, I think
as a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more, sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
The friends that I want and the people in my life, I would want someone to tell this to me, even if I think that like maybe it can be a little uncalled for or rude or not your place. I say shit that's not my place, and I think it's just a matter of like that. But I think it's a little alarming that she thinks it's ridiculous to compare pets to children, which it's true, but that if he's not a good pet parent, that he will not be a good child. Like children take far more work than pets. So to me, that's just like, but I don't like I don't want to say I'm not an animal lover. Like I like some, but I'm not like, I was never that kid who like bled out for animals, mostly because I got attacked by a dog when I was 3. And I'm also, me, I'm a jumpy. I'm a skittish person. Don't like bugs. Like I'm jumpy. So I don't bleed out for animals. Like that's not, I have some animals that I like really, really like. But, if I was a partner who didn't really want them, like I would probably put more of the responsibility on the other partner. But it's less to me about how he treats the dog or how he is being a dog parent and more about how she's letting it all happen, that I think is a far worse indicator in them as parents or their relationship as a parent. Like I think it's a communication issue to me. So I think that like, yeah, it's attractive when you see the person you're with bear responsibility and, do all of that kind of stuff. But if she's unhappy with the situation, with how they're divvying up the dog responsibilities, and she's saying nothing about it, that will happen with kids because it's less about, oh, well, maybe he won't do it. It's even if he does do it, she's not going to say anything. You know what I mean? I don't think you're wrong for comparing it because, you know, she brought it up and like I would do the same thing. But I think on like terms of, is it impolite and not really your place to say that? Yes. But again, there are times that I will say things that I think are impolite because it's like more important to me to say it than to be polite. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I think when you're talking about people's kids or future kids, it's not ever your place to say anything. And I know people that, like, I have a friend that recently was telling me about how their dad absolutely like did not like their pet dog growing up and didn't want any of the responsibilities, but they were an excellent dad. And like, and even like my dad doesn't really like animals, but he's still like a good dad.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there's a direct correlation between it.
I guess right. So I mean, I'm 100% on your side with that. It's just a matter of if she wanted the dog and he was kind of like, nah, then I think that's completely fine. But if he was the one actively equally pushing for the dog, then I don't think it's fair. But we don't know that. But yeah I agree with you. Like, I don't think if you dislike pet, like animal, like dog, I don't think that means that you will be a bad parent. It's just about, my whole thing is responsibility. Like if you wanted the responsibility and then you push the responsibility to someone else.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that.
But again, we don't know about the responsibility part. Because even like, I don't like cats, but I've lived with one and I've, when the owner of said cat was lacking in responsibilities, I would, feed the cat, but I wasn't sitting up and cuddling with the cat. Like that wasn't what I wanted. That's not how I live my life. I'm not a cat person. I don't like that they sit and lick themselves all day.
I don't like that they stare at you with those yellow eyes.
Yeah, and then they just pounce and then run around for no reason. I mean, there's a reason, but
like, yeah, sure, evolutionary wise, but
yeah, but
they got long claws and that sound
no
on the hardwood floor,
and then how they just like claw at things.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
need.
Yeah. So I'm not a cat person.
Yeah,
and so like, if there is a cat around, I'm not going to be its best friend, but I don't want the cat, but I'm great with children.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point. I automatically assumed that they both wanted that. They both wanted. And so like, yeah, I mean, I would probably follow up with her. And if you're unsure, because her reaction to being like comparing those things, if he didn't want the dog and she was the one who really pursued all of that, she can still complain about, damn, this is a lot more responsibility than I thought. But that also doesn't make him wrong for following through that, like, he said this was going to be your responsibility because he didn't want a dog. And like, so she might be venting to you and complaining about all this responsibility that she has. And the assumption is, and my assumption, but I did the same, that the assumption was that they agreed to split the responsibility.
Right.
But if they didn't agree to split the responsibility, I think your heart's in the right place. But I don't think it's a pet care, comparing pet care to parenting. And I agree. I don't think you should ever, once there's a child in the world, or even someone is carrying a pregnancy that they are choosing, they've made the choice to go through with it. I think that point, even fucking rhetorical question, like that's shit, you keep your mouth goddamn fucking shut. But like a hypothetical parenting
they're
question.
already trying. Like,
no, they're starting in the summer.
Yeah, but they've made up their mind that they're like trying for kids. I don't think that's your place to say anything.
No, and I think that the thing of is bringing up and asking your friend instead of giving them, because it makes people defensive. And so it's just more along the lines of being like, do you feel, and you have to word it in a way that's like very delicate, but like, do you feel like responsibility wise, like how are you guys gonna, like, are you gonna do like daycare, like things like that, to like have someone start thinking about the practical aspects, especially if they're the person who kind of runs their household, that it could be nice to kind of bounce off that with someone and then have them come to their own conclusions. But it's a responsibility thing. I don't think it's a pet thing. But I think yelling at the dog,
that is irritating.
But to me, that's not a red flag for you becoming a parent. I'm like, red flag our marriage. Like, red flag you as a person. Like, that wouldn't be like okay, I can't bring a kid into the world. I would go, okay, why am I with you? This is like alarming, not okay behavior to begin with.
Yep. All right. Next one. Hi, Megan and Melissa. Love the pod and need to know if I'm wrong here. So for context, my parents bought a house in my college town where my brother followed me to college instead of paying 2 rents. I am 24 and I work full time. My brother is 22 and still in school. I pay the monthly bills and keep up with the cleaning while my parents pay the mortgage. Yesterday, my brother asked if I'd be okay with his friend living with us for the fall semester. We have a spare bedroom that my parents use when they come to visit, which is the space he wants his friend to be able to use. I have some trauma surrounding being left alone with men, and while I'm working on it, the thought of sharing my safe space with the guy that I don't know well at all makes my stomach drop. Additionally, I work from home at least 2 days a week. Usually these are the days that my brother has class or clinical, so the space is quiet. I live here year round, so I know there are still spaces available near campus. I don't want to be the bad guy, but I also feel that for my own sanity and sense of peace, I don't really want someone else in my safe space. Would I be wrong to say no? Thank you. No, you're not wrong.
Say no.
Even if it was a gal that was moving in, I don't want anybody extra in my space that does not need to be here.
Also, especially, like, I think he can be the nicest guy in the world, nicest girl in the world, nicest person in the world. But like the dynamic of living with siblings, fuck no. I do not want to be a part of that.
No, and your parents are paying the mortgage. So like he's coming to pay rent and then or live for free.
Essentially.
Or live for free. I don't know what your brother's thinking is, but then that gives no place for your parents to stay when they come. And again, it throws off the whole dynamic. And again, I just don't want somebody in my space that does not need to be there. So say no. Tell your brother no, thank you. Did he bring it up to your parents?
I bring it up to your parents
because like this is not cool. This is not. Your brother might be trying to be a nice guy. I don't know the situation. I don't know this person's situation, but like you said, there are places that the person can stay on or near campus. It does not need to be your home, your safe space, your workplace. Nah.
And you said you don't want to be the bad guy. Reclaim that. I'll be the bad guy for anyone. Like it's one of those things. It is an underrated role to play. Like I'll be the fucking bad guy. If that means that I'm doing something I'm not comfortable with, I'm fine if that's what that role is, because also like you don't owe this person anything. You know what I mean? And like your brother could have even been asking you, hoping that he doesn't want to be the bad guy. So he's like, well, I mean, she's definitely gonna fucking say no. So like, I'm just gonna ask, and then I can say, oh, my sister's like, you know what I mean? Like, so I think in that, like, be honest with your brother and be like, I'm really like not comfortable with that. And I think that it's a fucking long shot, and I would be surprised if he is surprised that you like aren't cool with it, because he asked. So he knows that he's considering you and your permission, and there's no shot, I don't think, that your parents would be like, yeah, no, have someone live there seemingly for free who your sister is not comfortable living. No,
absolutely not.
Like, it's just not yeah. So it doesn't make you the bad guy, but also if that's what makes you the bad guy, then, oh my God, I'm the bad guy. Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? Be comfortable in your home.
Like, and imagine, like, what if he, like, you are, like, telling your brother, like, oh my God, you fucking piece of shit. Like, you know how siblings talk to each other or whatever. And the friend's like, oh my God, it's, like, not really nice. And there's like, yeah, you're being, like.
There are things that me and my sister say to each other. We get in fights all the time. We're fine. You know, like, we are over it. But then somebody else coming into the situation, they don't understand. They don't get it.
Yeah. And, like, if he then feels responsible, and like I'm saying, like, I've been friends, like, a lot of my 4 close friends I've had growing up, sisters. And I've had to do the walking from one room to the other room, being like, okay, well, you know what? This is how I've done that. And it's like the responsibility to like keep the peace and like attempting to keep peace in those situations. That's not a fun role for anyone to play, or, you know, picking sides and all of that. It's not fucking fun, and it's not worth it. And you already live with one boy.
One college boy.
Yeah. The idea of living with disgusting.
No. And then also you pay the bills like at the house too.
Yeah. I don't know your relationship with your brother, but to me, this is like saying, like, someone invites you to sleep over, you don't want to go, and be like, oh, like, let me ask. And then you pause and you're like, I can't actually, like, to me, I'm like, it's like he knows the answer is no, but he wants to tell him that he asked.
Or he just
to
is
then
like,
be like, oh, she said no.
like a really nice person, and this person doesn't have anywhere to live. He's like, let me check.
I would go, let me check and find some other nice people who I know.
Let me help you acquire a loan at school.
I'm not going to have no. It's also just how, and he's not going to be there for vast majority of the time. So he doesn't know what it's even like. Do we even know he knows what it's like living with this person?
No.
Ew. That's don't take me down with this shit.
Absolutely not.
Is that too soon for those statements?
It was a submersive. It wasn't a ship.
Okay.
So, but I don't think it's too soon for anything.
No.
Did you see? Well, you don't follow the Thor, the wood chopping guy.
He
had a great take on that.
I don't. I mean, I'd be interested in hearing it.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to take a break.
We'll be back.
We're back.
Hi.
And it's time for But Aren't They Wrong? And that's when we nominate somebody.
Who you vote for is private. But everyone will know if you voted or not. It's a matter of public record. And when this election is decided by a handful of votes in your neighborhood, you don't want your friends and family to know you let them down. Voting is easy. Make a plan to vote by mail, vote early in person, or on November 5th. Make sure people know you did your civic duty.
Paid for by Story Network Foundation.
In the zeitgeist that is wrong about something.
Hell yeah, we do. And I would like to nominate Sheehan, which is not the first time Sheehan has been brought up on this podcast.
Nope.
I think that you did it the first time. So if anyone has not seen, Sheehan invited influencers to tour their quote unquote factories in the most blatant act of this is not a sweatshop propaganda that I've ever seen.
I've never seen anything like
Melissa,
this
the
in my
secondhand
life.
Embarrassment that I was like, Black Mirror, this is an episode of I was mortified. And I don't want to say this to sound self-righteous or anything like that, but I cannot fathom in my head. Yes, one thing agreeing to go on this trip. The next is filming the content to promote. After this, I would have been like, how much do I owe you? So sorry. No shot in hell that I am because you get there and they're talking about blah, 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 and we do that. And brand trips, I've been on brand trips. They go through and they'll talk about so this is where we source this and this and this. And it's very timeshare sales-y. But when we're talking about skincare and things that are oh, and then this is how we make this, this, and this. But when it's, oh, people think that these are the conditions and they're not really that. And it suddenly go, okay, if you're talking so much about disputing claims that this is a press trip to save face, we're not promoting a line. We're not doing it. You brought me here and you're using me as damage control. There is not enough money in the world. And a lot of people,
How much do you think they got paid?
This is my fucking thing. So people are they must have gotten some. No, I'm telling you right now. So Sheehan's got money. They have money.
Yes, their CEO bought a $64 million house here in LA.
So in general, when you go on a brand trip, traveling domestically, the pay rate that you will get decreases exponentially because the trip, quote unquote, is they value that experience as a dollar amount. Even though, and this is something that I've always had in contract stuff, I'm if I have to travel for work, unless it's a vacation and something that I want to do, and it's not want to do, but something that it's not a job. I'm not contractually obligated to post certain things. It's not an exchange. I would rather just have the money and stay at home and make the money and do the content and stuff. So I would rather get paid more money if I have to get on a flight. International, even less likely that they pay because most of the time they can't, brands, if they are requiring posts from influencers on these branded trips. Influencers don't know this. I don't want to say all of them do, but a lot of people don't. If a brand contractually requiring posts, then it is a business expense. Then they can write that Then there's a whole thing with tax write-offs. Basically, if you are actually contracted to post stuff and you have to do these things and you signed all of this stuff, you have to declare this on your taxes from the influencer's perspective. The brands make sure it's done in a way where they can do this as a tax write-off, but influencers need to declare this and you will be taxed upon how much the value of the trip is worth. And a lot of people don't get that. And a lot of people don't do that. And to be fair, the FTC does not really come for people for that at this point. It's not really you're going to get audited immediately, but that's how you should be doing your taxes by the book. So these influencers are TikTok mostly. The cost that you'll get and the price for a TikTok ad sponsorship is far less than you would get for a YouTube or an Instagram or anything like that. So just in general, it's lowballed compared to other platforms. Then you add in the fact that it is an international travel experience. And you add in the fact that they didn't film this content themselves. Shein has people who's clearly filming all of this behind the scenes stuff, doing that. I think Shein probably edited all of these things too. And then influencers made their own kind of follow-up videos or talked about it afterwards. So I'm going to say there is no shot that I would think the most someone made would be if they had a celebrity come or someone who has a bigger crossover. If someone just TikTok, I'm going to say 10 grand maybe. And that is extremely generous. There's no doubt in my mind, one person there. I don't have a specific person I'm thinking of, but someone went and didn't get paid to go.
Yeah.
And someone probably got paid very, very, very little to go. And if they had anyone who was quote unquote famous, multi-platform famous, has that reach, then I could see that having more. But then I would also think maybe they're going to have a Shein collab and that's part of a bigger deal for them. But you don't invite this many people to do this, produce all the content in-house yourself and have people travel and then pay them. It's like the Tarte trip. No one's going to pay on those things. This is why it's even more embarrassing. I go, oh my God, you couldn't just gone to Turks and Caicos. You literally took a brand trip, which again, is it fun? Sure, totally. But is it also work? Yeah. And the brand saves a lot of money. A lot of the stuff is free that the brand gets. They do partnerships with the hotels. They don't have to pay for pretty much anything. The brands don't spend as much money on brand trips as people think. They would spend far more doing traditional advertisement. And then you're not even really getting compensated to simp for Shein, which is baffling.
But it's also upsetting that most of the women that went are marginalized women. They're Black women, Mexican women. One of the women describes herself as a plus size woman who is the white woman that's there, the only white woman that's there.
And I don't know if Shein did this specifically in the ones I saw or if someone else edited it and post, but it's everybody was a something ambassador and it was confidence ambassador, inclusivity ambassador. They gave everyone who went these little chyrons there that I don't think are false, but if Shein put them there, it is kind of token here, and here's how you should specifically target them when you're talking. It just felt okay, target on your goddamn fucking back. So specifically one creator, so this one self-dubbed confidence activist, Danny Carboni, faced widespread backlash. This one is specific. This article that I'm referencing is by Alexa Lizitza. Yeah. It's by Alexa Lizitza at BuzzFeed. So she has since deleted her video, but it was viewed over 11 million times on Twitter. And she praised the brand's work, saying, "This China trip has been one of the most life-changing trips of my life. Getting to see the whole process of Shein clothing from beginning to end with my own two eyes was so important to me. I was really excited and impressed to see the working conditions." Then she refers to herself as an investigative journalist before she shares the experiences she had there, saying that she was really surprised about all the rumors that she talked to one of the factory workers and they said she was really surprised at all of the rumors that have been spread in the US. "I think the biggest takeaway from this trip is to be an independent thinker, get the facts, and see it with my own two eyes." That is dog whistle language.
Independent thinker.
Yeah, to me. And there's narrative fed in the US and I'm the one that always likes to be open-minded and seek the truth. So I'm grateful for that about myself and I hope the same for you guys. Concluded. And everybody talked it was, if I could look at the required talking points, one of the words I'm going to say was misinformation, specifically address misinformation and about being surprised and talking to the workers and as if that these people were doing a undercover investigation for working conditions for people.
But we've already seen the other undercover investigations that people have done for Shein.
Yeah. And so Channel 4 did a documentary, Inside the Shein Machine Untold. And with their undercover cameras, they saw workers clocking in 17-hour days with a base salary of $20 per day.
Yeah, I did that for But Are They Wrong?
Oh, yeah, yeah. And in 2022, a report published by Synthetics Anonymous 2.0 on fashion sustainability said that Shein's 6,000 factories burn a lot of oil and thus produce as much CO2 as about 180 coal-fired power plants. And then the Swiss watchdog group Public Eye in 2021, they reported interviewing lots of workers and people worked in the companies that supply Shein products and learned that they're working upward of 75 hours per week with 1 day off per month.
And if they mess up on products too, they get dock paid.
Yeah. So that original influencer did a response video, which has also since been deleted, and said, I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing. I was taken on the trip, once in a lifetime chance. You'd have done the exact same thing. We were fed propaganda. We were fed a whole line about Chinese people, Chinese culture, she concluded. So here's the thing that I think is the most egregious part of all of this is the last line, not fucking wrong. We are fed a lot of bullshit about China. We are in a, I don't know, goddamn eon lifelong war enemies with China for there is a reason there is a lot of anti-China shit. And it's, you have to be vigilant when you are consuming said information and what you are getting. So this idea that everything in China is evil because it's China is not true. But then you cannot view valid criticisms of working conditions, not everywhere in China, but in factories that have had poor working conditions, as everybody's just against. It's
and say that that's part of China's culture.
Yeah. And it's just you can have things, the whole thing of this is how I grew up. I was not allowed to buy anything made in China. That was not allowed. Everything was a sweatshop. Everything has to be made in the USA. And the older I get, it's oh, that's not true. You can have things that are not made in sweatshops other places. And in this idea that we have in America, that if it's made in America, that means it's good living conditions. It's a livable wage. It's safe. It's clean. It's healthy. There are no children. And then if it's somewhere else, well, I mean, I've never been there, but of course I know that every single thing, no. It's these big ass fucking broad statements. But then the idea, if you want to call yourself, whether a confidence activist or anything, but if you want to use the term activist, even if it's unrelated to political activism, I think it's an incredibly naive statement to make and a title to give yourself, to then also lump it all together in a way that you think you're being anti-xenophobic. And it's no, that's actually an issue that you are being a part of a problem of the issue that you're claiming that other people are doing in relation to this, because you're making these broad statements that everyone thinks all of China's I'm telling you, I've been here once. It's not all like that. And it's okay, wow, no, but you can't truly think that this specific company has just been oh no, it's all been a huge, big misunderstanding. We have shit that happens like this. We've reported on this podcast that happens in factories in the United States. Yep. This shit happens. So this whole thing of oh no, it was a mistake, but I had a great time is baffling to me. And the quote I will never get over, and I can't quote it verbatim because I'm pretty sure that one got scrubbed pretty quick. But someone else said, and nobody was sweating. They're not even sweatshops.
I saw that.
Huh? I don't know what's in my mind. I go, that was a joke that landed poorly. And then I go, but how did you think that was a joke? And I go, so in my mind, I'm were they being serious? Because that sounds like a tongue-in-cheek statement that you should never make, but it's a play on words. But I'm you can't make a play on words about that. So did you genuinely think that was a insightful and productive thing to say that solidified your point? And the brand approved that? That sounds like you're mocking.
Yep. I thought this was all a mockery when I first heard about it. I was there's no way this is true. There's no way.
I thought it was an Onion article at first. I was
yeah, that's what I mean.
Because I saw on Twitter first. I was this is a joke. Yeah. And now these creators, which I think that's part of the other thing that I think almost all of the creators are from marginalized communities. who statistically, factually get less brand deals, get less opportunities. Their accounts don't grow as fast. The algorithms don't favor them. And so I don't want to get on here and say like, they're not in a place to turn down work, because I don't know that that's true. And also there is, in this line of work and in freelance work specifically, there is a line, if you are compromising your morals, that you have the ability with the job that you're doing, like online, you have the ability to make the hours work to work another job. So you don't have to take the pay. Maybe in some very rare, seldom cases, you're taking care of a sick parent. You have something that's a full-time other thing, and this is the only way you can make money on the side.
But it also looks bad at you for your future partnerships. So is it worth taking the money now? Maybe, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
But in the long run, it probably isn't.
No, for me, I'm like, the only way that I can see someone taking this, who I'm like, I think Shein should be the ones who are getting like the brunt of this backlash, because they specifically chose creators who they knew are going to have to carry all this backlash. If there's a creator who's like, I truly like, I need to make the money. They're giving me like $2,000. I have to make $2,000 or else I'm losing something. I have to pay for something and like, I'm going to quit influencing to the day after that check clears and I'm going to pivot to another job. Then I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, I agree with you completely. Like, you're compromising the entire future of the money that you are making. And it's baffling to me. And everybody, all of them have doubled down.
Yep.
And they know. That's the other part to me. Like, when you get these, they send over the requirements, they send over the talking points, like you get the brand deck, and this entire thing is all about correcting the misinformation about it. So if it wasn't in the deck, because I've also attended things where they were like, this is all about women's empowerment. And I get there and it's all men speaking and cutting off women. And there's no women's empowerment. And then they said, oh, please stop saying the word feminism. And I went, oh, okay, cool. When I get home, I'm going to give you the fucking money back.
I remember you talking about that.
And they're like, can't give the money back. I go, cool, going to donate the money in your name. They're like, please don't do that. I go, legally, I'm allowed to do that. My lawyer's like, sure. So I do that. So like, it's one of those things that like, you can get duped. Nobody is above getting duped in a brand misleading into like what the experience is. But there is
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all, I'm JJ.
Hey, guys, it's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
a way out. But the issue is also, I have had the luxury of knowing that I have more money where that came from, and like saying no to that thing or turning down that thing. I have enough confidence in myself, but also the algorithm favors me. Like, I've been at this for a while. Like, I get brand deals. I'm a blonde white girl. Like, this is something, I've done it for a long time. And I know that that's not my only opportunity. And for some people, it's like, that felt like a once in a lifetime. Yeah. It's the only brand deal they'll ever get.
Yep.
And it's creating the problem and then casting people to participate in the problem who they know, want that experience. It's wildly fucked. And I did see a good number of plus size creators who are saying, like, they also like reference specifically, like, like Shein's great for like plus size clothing, and people are like, it's not for a lot. And like, that's not the only place. Like, things have really started to expand in sizing, specifically because that was the Shein failsafe, was that like one of the only affordable clothing that's in extended sizing. And now that's not really the case. And so it's like, okay, so there are other places that they might not be the most sustainable, the most ethical, but when you know something is so poorly poorly managed and poorly run and so harmful for the people. We're all of those things. Like that can be something you avoid to something that might not be the most ethical, but it's better than that. And we work our way up to that place because it is a privilege. But Shein's also, the way they make money is because people spend like $900 on giant like bags and bags and bags. It's not necessity clothes. And they're not clothes that are designed to last either.
Nope. They're all in the landfill. All right. My nomination this week is Roseanne Barr. And I thought we were done hearing from this broad.
My gasp felt like I heard a ghost. I go, she's back?
She's back.
Oh my God. Did she get back on Twitter? Did Elon let her back on Twitter?
This stuff was on Instagram.
Okay.
But she probably is back on Twitter.
That's actually a good point.
So she posted this throwback to when she was on Vanity Fair back in 1994. And it was this photo shoot of her shot by Annie Leibovitz. And she was like the first plus size person that was on the cover. And she was wearing like lingerie and had her legs spread open. And it was like a big...
I see it.
Yeah, it was like a big deal at the time. And so she got on Instagram and said, when is, and added Lizzo, going to thank me for paving the way, a homage to Botero. She keeps talking, like she keeps bringing up Lizzo. And, you know, we've talked about it. Like, why are people always fucking talking about Lizzo? Why are people so jealous of her and like trying to make her like the butt of a joke or something? And she's not. And so then she has this new podcast that came out. And in the first episode, she's saying, I laid the groundwork for you and you've never said thank you. I was the one that they wrote all the shit about. There was some more. I'm paraphrasing now. But then she goes, even in the Time and Newsweek, I did the work, bitch. Like yelling at Lizzo as if Lizzo gives a shit about her, as if Lizzo should be kissing the ground that she walks on, as if Lizzo isn't also the same things are not being still said about her.
That Roseanne's also currently saying.
Yes, that Roseanne is currently saying. This is a woman that got fired from her own show that had her name in the title that they have continued to do and not do it without her name on it because she said something racist. She is a Holocaust denier and openly speaks about how the Holocaust didn't happen, but also then says even more anti-Semitic things that I will not repeat. It's so disgusting. And I'm just like, just leave Lizzo alone. Why? Why are you bringing her into this? And like people that have said bad shit about Lizzo, bad things happen to them. I don't know what kind of special...
The Brujas, the fucking witches, they got her back.
So like Aries Spears is one example of it. We talked about...
It was the turnaround on that?
Yeah, the next week.
Spooky.
We talked about him talking shit about Lizzo. The next week, terrible shit comes out about him. And then we've got like PK Subban, who used to play in the NHL, talk shit about him. I mean, he talked shit about Lizzo. Bad stuff happened to him. Also, this woman has a platform where she also said on her Instagram, burn me at the stake for not agreeing with me. Let me throw out one idea. And she goes on like prepping for what she's about to say.
You said burn me at the stake. I don't need to hear your idea. I'm going to say I'm ready to burn it out hearing it.
And then she said, and I quote, this is a direct quote, Trump.
Nope.
Hear me when I say this. Trump is, in my opinion, the first woman president of the United States.
I would have thought her psychiatrist would have been like, you know, was Twitter the problem or was the Ambien the problem? So Twitter has been removed.
Yeah.
That no, ma'am. No, ma'am. There are other things you can take that can help sleep. We can do other. Ambien is a hell of a goddamn drug.
But now she's getting on and posting video of herself. So she can't just like say I was tweeting out things. No, she's posting actual videos of her saying these things.
No, I know, but like her PR team.
I know, but I'm saying like before they were like, it was the Ambien. I was tweeting on Ambien, but now she is opening a video, lighting herself, putting herself on camera to say these things. Like it's
it's her.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where's did your publicist get fired? Like, because what is this? There's nothing I find fucking funnier than people whining about like everything being taken away from them on their like blue checkmark fucking verified million followers or like talking to an audience. I'm like, what was taken away from you? Like, you're literally on here complaining to people. Like, this cancel culture thing. I'm like, you're not.
And people are agreeing with her. All the races love her. They love her.
They'll take.
And the thing
anything.
is, they used to hate her.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
she used to be like this liberal woman that got up and said and did whatever she wanted. But in a, you know, it used to not be like Roseanne used to be a show that would talk about like the working class and like marginalized people and like queer people. Like it was like the blue collar, like liberals. That was the show.
Yep.
And then she just changed. I'm sure it was there. But
no, yeah. It's there.
It might have been her ex-husband, Tom Arnold, who created the show with her. He might have been the
progressive one.
Yeah. But I don't know. These are just guesses.
No, but there's a whole thing. And then I think that like fame is also an instigator of like hatred because people like they get so jealous of other people and specifically white people when they see who they've been looking everyone else that they've been coming up with is white, and then suddenly when it's not that, it's like, well, I can compete with that, and then it's this like like just this innate anger that they can't name, and I go, it's racism. It's what it is.
Yep.
It's you're implicit by all of those things, and instead of that, it just becomes this. Oh, I'm used to fighting for these things, and I like all of this stuff, and instead of like when you're fighting against another like white woman for the role, it's a different fight than you are when you're then deciding that someone else does not deserve to even be in the fight with you because they haven't been there before. So then how did they get there? And it's like, okay, yeah, like it's just baffling to me that she is someone who has her fucking show's syndicated. Like she has so much, it's literally impossible to like quote unquote cancel her because like her shit still makes money.
Yeah.
And
so like she's like, she has a farm in Hawaii that she lives on.
It's like, I think that's the same way with like Lance Armstrong. It's like Lance Armstrong's on this like new Fox show where it's like they're pretending like celebrities are on Mars. I'm convinced that this has to be an Australian show or some show from like, I don't know, like an Asian like game show, something about this. There's no way that this came from the United States of America. Like this is a concept that is like so wild and creative that I'm like, someone else came up with this and we are doing a version. Lance Armstrong's on it. And I was like, that's so weird. And Ma's like, well, no, I mean, he has nothing to do. I go, but he doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So like, it's so odd to me when someone who does not have to work, they can make all of that money, they can have their views, they can do whatever the fuck that they want. They're going to continue on this to then, your show could be unsyndicated. But like right now it's not. Like Lance Armstrong's another one who I think of like, the scandals in his career and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm like, he already accomplished his things. He doesn't need to like save face and rebuild his career. It's his ego. And it's this ego fucking driven thing that I'm like, you will not stop until you blow up your own life. And like, that's how I feel about Roseanne. I'm like, you're not going to stop. You can take her off Twitter. You can take her off social media. It's like, no, you are unhappy, insecure, like racist, anti-Semitic, and you will be until your head explodes. Like you will do it in screaming until the day you die. Like it's just, there's nothing you want. There's nothing you're trying to get. There's no like goalpost you're trying to reach. You're just gonna keep fucking talking.
Yep.
And no one can stop her. Like none of her team, none of her agents, all of that shit.
She's just got a new podcast.
Yep.
Like they don't care.
No, not at all. But it's like to the point, like, but they will care when her show gets unsyndicated because right now she still makes those people money. Eventually she won't.
The original Roseanne will be on forever.
No, I know, but I'm saying if she like, I don't think universal like across the world, but like, you know, some other countries, if she goes so like they'll remove it from that, but it's still other places she's making money there, and I just can't imagine being so prideful and having so much ego there that you can't just make your money and like your problematic money in silence.
I wish I could just make some money and just
Everyone does. Like,
lay down.
passive income.
Just shut up.
That's
Like,
what I
just
mean.
shut up. I wouldn't be on this mic for this podcast.
Nobody would. And like, that's the part I'm like,
But there are people that
ma'am.
would. That's the thing is there are people that aren't. There's so many people that are.
weird. Like, just be like, you know, fucking toddlers, elementary school kids who like are obsessed with YouTube videos and like they just record videos of themselves talking on their iPad and they don't upload them.
Yeah.
Like, do that. Like, or go to therapy. Like, it's so odd to me. Like, the whole narrative of cancel culture, but specifically like people sharing their story with cancel culture, I'm like, negated. It's no longer cancel culture. You're sharing your story. You have not been canceled. You have a platform to share your
No one's
story.
been canceled.
Your story's been shared. Like, it's just idiotic to me. Okay, well,
All right.
that's it for our episode. We hope you all enjoyed. Do not forget that Fisting Friday comes out tomorrow, where you can hear the results of Clashed Week's episode. And if you want to vote for your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about on this episode, that will be up most likely Friday, maybe Saturday.
You
maybe
have
Sunday.
time though this week because I'll be gone. So
Flawless, amazing, perfect, wonderful,
Yep.
stunning. I am obsessed with that. And if you want to write in, give your own thoughts and feelings for certain ones, if you're like, oh, I disagree like this, I think this person was wrong. Even if you agree with us, you disagree with us, you have your own thoughts. We love to hear it. We just like to read those aloud to kind of see what you say. And we will not hold it against you unless you say that you don't think Roseanne is wrong. And feel free to explain why that is. And we will hold that against you, but I feel like that's kind of a given. And feel free to tag us social media if you see things you want us to talk about on the show. Please send them in DMs if it's going to be like anything like hard to watch, like traumatic, troublesome, like just tagging where it automatically pops up.
no thanks.
Send us a little message and then say like, hey, can you check this thing out? We appreciate when it's done like that. And follow us anywhere, everything. What else?
That's it.
That's it.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Listening to a podcast should be time well spent, and I promise it will be if you'll give this podcast a try. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in every episode, I talk with leading experts on topics I know you will find fascinating. From why people can't keep secrets, what your favorite music says about you, why your pet acts in strange ways, and so much more. Something You Should Know is designed to give you information you can use in your life and give you great intel that you can share with others. I'm told it's a binge-worthy podcast. And with over 1,000 episodes, there's a lot to binge on. Something You Should Know has been ranked in the top of the Apple Podcast charts consistently for a long time. I know you're going to like this. I just need to get you to try it. Something You Should Know. It's available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.